That's what he said with Cedric D. Sanders.
100% real, raw, and uncut. Deadass.
Y'all know what time it is. Turn up. That's what I said.
Welcome to another episode of That's What I Said with your host, Cedric Sanders, giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filter. The broadcast starts now.
All right, we're coming in with the crazy shit. So I never thought I was going to actually do a podcast talking about this particular topic, but we are because it's my damn platform and I can do what the hell I want to do. And tonight we're going to talk about Chat GPT and this weird kind of competition that's going on with SaaS. And a lot of people don't understand what SaaS is, but we're going to explain it to y'all. I am not here by myself because I'm always joined by my co-host, my beautiful wife, Connie. Say, hey, what's up to the people?
What's good? What's good? What's good? Thanks for tapping in and tuning in. We are here on Thursday night, and I'm ready for the motherfucking weekend.
It is, I know, shit. And we got a long-ass weekend.
Hell yeah, because I took leave for tomorrow.
I'm done.
out.
I'm done. She
4
said,
days
she
off.
said, fuck this job, I'm out.
Yep.
So, without further ado, y'all, I'm not doing this podcast again by myself. Yes, my co-host, my wife, Connie, is always here by my side, but I got two special guests that, so the two people that I'm bringing to the stage is some great energy and some good friends of mine. One in particular is out there in the hottest place on earth, which is Las Vegas, Nevada. I don't care what anybody says. It's hell on earth in the summertime out there.
True.
I bring to the world Miss Tanya Danae. What's good, Tanya? How's it going down there?
Hey, it's hot. I mean, it's starting to heat up. We are officially, right at the heart of spring. So June 21st is summer. So Vegas is definitely having their last little bit of kind of what you call spring showers, or not real showers, but you can see the snow on the mountains. Once the snow is gone, summer is here. So we're starting to see the snow melt.
That's what's up. Well, hopefully it doesn't make you tan. I mean, that sun can be definitely a fear factor when it comes to me, because I try to stay out of it as much as possible.
Yes,
man.
There's levels to the sun.
Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
This is 2,000. Vegas is 2,000 feet above sea level.
Oh yeah, see,
So, yeah.
It's right there. It's right there. You can.
Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah.
You can light something on top of the highest mountain in Nevada.
Period.
And be straight. So,
Yeah, literally.
So we got Tanya in the building and my other brother that is chilling like a villain on the West Coast, of course, because Tanya is on the West Coast and this brother is as well. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him during some clubhouse rooms through Tanya, of course. And this man's knowledge is beyond superior at a very young age. And he completely and utterly has passion for teaching people how to do things smarter, technology-wise, than doing it harder. And he always brings it back to you. So without further ado, I'm not trying to get into real names or nicknames. He just goes by Chowder. So what's good, Chowder?
Am I muted? Can you hear me? How y'all doing, everybody? Everybody, nice to meet you guys. My name is Chowder. My first name is Tylen, but I do prefer to be called Chowder with 2 R's. And I am considered a technologist, a tech founder, somebody that has specialties in software, a plethora of software, no code specifically, or SaaS platforms is what the actual terminology for the name is, and other things as well. And yeah, I've met these 2 wonderful people on Clubhouse. Believe it or not, it is a great app, like many other apps, even though they have moments. But yeah, glad to be here.
Right. So, yeah. Give him a clap. Give him some cheers and all that shit.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome. So as we are all comfortable in I would say that's what I said, couch, but clearly I don't have that for the record yet. Because if I had the funding for that, then you guys wouldn't have been here. I'd have been like, hey, just fly off for the day. Yeah, we ain't doing that shit.
Next year.
Yeah, next year. Yeah. So I really wanted to have this conversation because Tanya and Chowder be having these conversations and be building, and Chowder be having conversations with me that's like, we start off, I put it like this. Have you ever had a phone conversation with someone when you had a specific agenda that you wanted to talk to this person about, and when that agenda is met, it goes into a different like plateau of something else just because the way the conversation is going? That's what happens with me and Chowder. Like literally, I talked to him, and specifically he was showing me, something that he was been meaning to show me. He showed me that, and then it turned into a good 20-30 minutes talking about nothing but Chat GPT, and him showing me. I was just like, dude, what? Like my brain like literally started coming out of my ears. I was just like, what?
Yeah, because I think you was on the phone with him, and I was on the phone with my son, and we were on the phone for like an hour and some change, and I finished my conversation before you finished yours.
Yeah. It was, literally.
And I was like, well, damn, all right.
Literally, and I'm thanking God right now that the podcast land can't see this gray hair that's just sitting out here aimlessly, just pissing me the fuck off. Like, I got
Don't
2
pull it.
in my
5
chin.
more will come.
Literally, I got 2 in my
For
chin, and then I got that one straggler motherfucker right here. This is
really got me laughing right
so,
now.
Podcast land, I'm gonna need y'all to take care of your bro, and
You need to stop.
send a couple nickels so that when gray hair start filling in and I start looking like a Marvel superhero,
And you start looking like me?
yeah, well, we
Wisdom.
ain't going there. I didn't say anything about your gray hair, but you telling your business. So I mean,
I got the storm features going on.
She got the wisdom coming in. That's right, Connie. Give us wisdom.
she out here looking like fucking Mystique, like she's just changing from one to another, and I'm just like, what the? So
That's from kids.
yeah, it is.
Damn kids, boy.
I realized just in the conversations that I had with Chowder that, we needed to have one on the podcast. And the reason why, it's not for clout, because I mean, really, it's really not. It's really to inform people, and it's based off of true information. And you're not going to get an emotional attachment to ChatGPT. We, as a collective, in some form or fashion, we kind of know what it is. And I say kind of because, you don't want to be deemed as an expert, because then they make you pay money and get blue checks and shit and be verified. And they want to know what your YouTube page is and try to scale it up. And now you're just a regional expert because they like how you talk. Fuck all that. We going to give a true opinion that I think should help everyone not only just be a little bit more comfortable with ChatGPT, but understand what it is and what it's not. Yes, some people are going to use it to do rap lyrics. Yes, some people are going to use it to write books. But true authors are going to get, and I just got off the phone with my sissy, and she was giving me an opinion about it. And she was like, no, I'm against that shit. It's this, that, and the third. And I completely understand why she felt the way she felt. It's not I guess you could say it's not a slap in the face for people that like ChatGPT. It's a reality that people have to understand. People are going to use ChatGPT to help scale up things and, of course, guide them in the right direction. Whereas some people that, I don't know, I don't know if there's a better way to put it. I mean, some people are just lazy and they always try to find shortcuts to get to the end game. So they're going to do that. And in doing that, I'm just thinking that, you know, just like they do college papers, term papers, where they get you for plagiarizing, we're going to know if somebody used ChatGPT.
Right.
In some way, yeah.
If
some way, you're going to be able to tell.
I mean, let's be real. People that you went to school with, when you know for a fact they were slow, and all of a sudden they got 4 books that they wrote.
Hey, I mean, you know.
You got 4 books, bruh?
Yeah.
You was looking Windows when we graduated, and you wrote 4 books.
It's the hood J.K. Rowling. You already know. It's the hood J.K. Rowling.
I'm so done. I am so done. Saying he's gonna write a new Harry Potter called Sari. What is her name?
Harry Potter and the Deadly Ops. You already know what it is. You know.
I'm so.
Yes, sir.
I'm so weak. He said the Deadly Ops. I'm done. I brought back up tonight. I brought back up because Connie, on the other hand, is not specialized in a lot of technology. She knows how to use her phone. She knows how to use the computer and word processors and spreadsheets and shit like that. But ChatGPT is like,
nah,
that's Skynet. Fuck you. So
better than if I got enough surveillance. I don't need all that.
Right. And the way we keep our house, there's a totally different side to that. And if we had a conversation about the security we have in our house, people would be like, what you scared of? I ain't scared of shit. I just want to know when you coming so I know what leg to shoot first. That's it.
Okay.
Fort Knox.
I mean, just saying. But to bring it home and to have this discussion, ChatGPT, I'm a shoot it to Tanya, and then Chowder can come in after that. What was like the most intriguing thing that you saw or wanted to know about ChatGPT before you became interested in it?
Perfect. So I think that's the biggest thing, right? People that tune in are going to be like, oh, I've heard of it, but they don't really know what it is. So if people think about just when they go to google.com, they'll search for something and they get a bunch of random posts, sponsored ads, things like that. And they kind of go digging down this well to find more specific information. So ChatGPT is just pretty much like having an encyclopedia, dictionary, from every part of the world, with all information up until at the time when it came out, it was 2019 or 2020. So it's a database of information to be able to navigate whatever you're building, but it's on an AI platform that can do anything. So let me tell you how I started it. I'll keep it short, brief, how I got into it, and then how I leveled up and scaled it, and then it made sense. So I heard about it in November of last year. Saw an influencer speaking about it on IG. And he was saying, hey, if you're into remote work, you should think about using ChatGPT. It can help you build out certain processes of your business, right? And I'm like, I didn't care anything about that. I was like, let me look up my ancestors. So I went to ChatGPT and said, is the Tolver name, in this part of the region, yada, yada, yada. And it was like, there's no mention. And I was like, look, this is in my family's history because you can talk back to it. This is here. And it goes, I'm sorry, that may be correct. However, my data only goes up to such and such with public records. I'm like, okay, cool. So then I went to a bigger tribal name and then it pulled up the data, right? So I'm like, So I didn't do anything major with it, just put it on hold. We're on Clubhouse, as you know, fast forward 4 months later, 3 months later. And I'm seeing every room come up about ChatGPT writing books. Write 100 books with ChatGPT, make $10,000. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, what are they doing with ChatGPT that I'm not doing? So then I'm paying attention to the titles of the rooms. And so then I literally say, oh, it's a real prompter. So then I said, okay, write me a business plan for such and such business. And it literally spit out a business plan. A lot of it was jargon. And I said, no, make it be this with this. And then boom, it gave me the information. So I began to use it to create my schedule. Like, I have these following things to do, and I still need to have time for my personal wellness time. Create me a daily schedule that will help me find time for yada, yada, yada. So I look at it more like a personal assistant. People that have a fear for it, look, I don't necessarily want to come for Connie, right? The Connies of the world and my daddies that's in the garage, but I'm going to go ahead and come for them. Look, the time and the information and the gaps that thing is able to close for people that are willing to learn it, right? To close it, because it's an open AI platform. It doesn't have structure. It's not Jasper AI where you can say, write me such and such and such is going to give you this. It can do that for ChatGPT, but you have to do a lot of navigating. So long story short, it lets people become creatives again. There are people that work jobs that shouldn't have been working as janitorial services for the last 80 years anyway. They've been able to do these AI robots for the last 150 years. They should have been having them clean the parks. What are we talking about? So I think it's going to drive people where they may feel uncomfortable at first. And if you don't feel it, let your grandkids play with it. Let them create something for you so that you can say, oh, shoot, I get it now. For my mom, it helps her understand crypto more, right? That's just, that's her area of interest. So now she can find everything she couldn't find on Clubhouse because she didn't want to sit in a room for 3 hours. Now she can just go find her information. So it's more like a virtual assistant. You can tell it to take on a persona. It can be an attorney. It can be a dietitian. It can be a lawyer. It can be anything you ask it to be in verbiage, right? And it's just going to spit it out in verbiage. You can't worry about words that you don't put out anywhere yet. Just first create them and see if you like it. So that's what I wanted to add about it.
Come on, Chowder.
Over here fiddling. No, I was over here. I'm in chat. I'm playing around with something that I'm probably going to talk about in a minute. And the whole time I'm testing it, the shit not working. And I realize it's turned off. I'm so dumb. Okay. Going into ChatGPT. So I knew about it since November, October for a plethora of things. Just YouTube, because I'm into technology. I follow stuff. Friends that were testing things. People I knew that knew more than me that were hinting at it. For me personally, I was interested because the ideas were already so crazy before it came out. And I'm weird. I look at things in a different way. So ChatGPT specifically for me is just another level of automation with a personality. So a lot of things that people are talking about, I would say at least for me, a majority, maybe about like 50 to 65, could already be automated without ChatGPT. But with that added, it just increases more of the simplicity and extra features that just weren't possible regardless because of that addition, which could be literally a variety of things. Going into like what Tanya is saying, I think with any type of technology, the introduction for people could really help. And then she gave a great example, like Google. The thing about Google is, and I don't want to compare this, but this is just the difference, the best analogy. You go to Google for search. ChatGPT will give you answers. It's the difference. So instead of typing in something and getting a whole page of, it doesn't even have to be wrong or biased. Let's take all that stuff out. You have to search and look through all this stuff. And depending on who you are you only going to look at one? I don't. I look at 5. So to have something that can, and not to say that you're never going to go look up a search, but in that moment, depending on what you're in ChatGPT asking it to do, it's going to be way more beneficial to get a way better outlined, detailed answer to help you do that, especially with pulling in information. So I for me, it's just more about how can things be automated more? And then when you add that personality feature as far as chatbots and things, because I'll be honest, I mean, like IVRs, I would say are considered chatbots. Those have been around for a long time. I just personally think that companies suck and they don't care about consumers enough to make good enough products, so people wouldn't consider that an AI. But it's damn near the same thing. You're talking to a robot that has prompted instructions or something in the back end for it to give you instructions or whatever the case may be. So,
right. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, so it's funny y'all both said what ChatGPT is, in so many different ways to where even a beginner would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, because just listening to both y'all's analogy on what it is for each of you or what it does for each of you and others that you interact with, it has started to make a little bit more sense to me on the what it is and what it's not. And I may not.
Yay, Connie, like, wait, no, child, this is the girl talk for a second, and you come back in. Okay, so Connie, example, say if you had a to-do list of just things you needed to get done verbiage-wise, right? Anything you needed to create. In my business, what I found is I wouldn't do a lot of the projects if I had to create all the verbiage, right? I didn't want to outsource out to anybody. Hell, I didn't have the money to outsource. Let's just call it what it is, right? So I would sit there and go, okay, write me 10 blog posts about health and wellness with a sassiness. Here's my personality style. I'm a Black woman. I give all my demographics in this one particular chat. And then that chat will spit out blog posts that sound exactly like me because I've referenced my website. It's picked up my, the way that like how Chowder said, it's a personality. It takes on whatever personality you're asking it to make that information out of. I had another chat where I had a disagreement, right? And so I needed to take all my emotions out of it and just be able to work through the disagreement because emotions won't get anything resolved. So I'm like, okay, here's how I feel. Angry typing, like Drake. And then it was like, boom, professional, cleaned it up, removed the emotions. I was like, well, I'll be damned. A lawyer would have charged me $175 for that, so, and it just took me 10 minutes to create that type of prompt. So it can actually like how I love what Chowder said, it'll create these things for you. So instead of you saying, let me find a workout plan, you can say, create me a workout plan. Boom, So,
nah, it's really crazy because and sometimes I don't want to say I'm the best person to speak, but I think when you're in different things, so I operate mostly as an agency owner. So as an agency owner, that means that I have clients to serve. And then on the opposite of that, if you're just somebody who doesn't operate to serve clients, the way you buy products and consume them are very different, and the information you have is very different. So I'll try to give very few examples. Let's say I'm building a website, because this is actually possible, right? So I'm building a website, and inside of this platform, ChatGPT is inside of this platform, right? Same thing, you enter a prompt or whatever. A prompt is a phrase. So I could say while I'm building this website, the example I'll give, let's say the same example she gave, I'm writing a blog, but this customer is from Russia. So since I've written this blog now, I can literally say, hey, ChatGPT, translate this in Russian, and it will fully translate it in Russian or any other language that it is without me having to go copy and paste, go to Google Translate, do whatever. Let's say I'm an engineer building an app and there's a piece of code that I've built, and for some reason I can't figure out what's wrong with this code. I can paste this code into ChatGPT and it's literally going to tell me what is wrong with the code because it's been programmed inside from 20 different languages just from data over the internet. So it can literally help you solve problems with creativity of what you're doing in an instant. And those are just still very small use cases, like basic. The creativity of opening it up. Kind of think of it, and there's a great video. To be honest, we might have to play it on here because I think it's the only video that I've ever watched that has gave a great explanation going into GPT and the learning model. It's really, really great. But I'm just leaving it at that real quick.
Okay, so type it in the chat. If you can find the URL, type it in the chat. I have the ability to share screen. So I can share screen, and well, it depends on how long it is. How long is it? Hold on, you muted.
He said 1 minute.
He said 1 minute?
No, he said hold on.
He said one. He said no, wait 1 minute. Okay, cool. I can wait. So anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I got the video of him up, and I'm just sitting there looking at me. I should be looking at his ass because I asked him the question. Anyway, hey, don't judge me. Don't judge me.
What?
So I personally have used ChatGPT to help outline different topics that I wanted to discuss on the podcast, and I wanted it to be a cleaner conversation. So what I did was I put in, hey, do a podcast, because that's what I said. It's blah, 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 blah. And I had it not do the default. I had it kind of like a edgy, or even, what was the other one I used? I think I said hip or some shit like that. And then what I did was, once it spit out the outline, I deleted everything and put my shit in, because literally it gave me some good info or whatever, but I didn't use it. I was just like, I'm not going to say that because that's not me. So I deleted it. I put in the information that I wanted to put down, and then I went back into Chat GPT and said, what did I put in there? I think I said, help me clean this up. I need help cleaning this up for my podcast. And I had the whole thing in there, and literally, like, no bullshit, literally it deleted everything out and put some other shit in there, and it sounded way better than what I did. And I was like, I was been drinking or something, because he was like, oh, my kid wouldn't listen to this shit. My kid AI ain't gonna listen to this shit. He just said blow the shit up. And what's funny is, I'm about wrapping it up. But what's funny is that I still didn't use it, because I'm an honorable kind of person. I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do that. So what I did was I used some of what they said, and I still put my shit back in there, but I read it so many times to where I omitted some things out, but it was still me saying it, because I was just glancing at it and I was like, I ain't saying that shit, and blah, 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 blah. And it was kind of a guide for me so that I wouldn't get along with it, because sometimes on my podcast, we go down the rabbit hole. Where's my music at? So I'll go down the rabbit hole. That's my rabbit hole music. So you go down the rabbit hole, and sometimes when you go down the rabbit hole, you go down and talk about some shit you really don't need to talk about, because that'll start a whole different conversation. And I purposely made sure that I didn't go deep in the rabbit hole. And Connie is funny, because I'll hit the rabbit hole button, and she's like, oh shit, here we go. Because she knows me.
Yeah, because you go down the freaking rabbit hole, and you
I stay in that bitch.
And then all of a sudden it's
that's that Alice in Wonderland. No, I was gonna say
yeah, I come out with a like, what year we in?
I'm back.
Like, no, you're in the same year, same day you went down there.
I ended up finding that video. It's about 9 minutes, and I'll say this: it really is one of the best explanation videos ever. And I'm gonna tell a story about, like, just perspective of how great AI and like algorithms and SEO. So when I saw this video on YouTube, because I watch a lot of certain channels like this that educate in a certain granular way. So when I seen this, the title says, how AI chatbots like ChatGPT learn. But I'll point this out. Usually when I share people, I see if they notice this, but I'll point it out at first. The date release was 5 years ago. So I'm like, ChatGPT wasn't out 5 years ago. So I go to the video, and this kind of talks about, I made this post before, like, AI has been out for a while, but ChatGPT is the most popular language model in terms of AI and stuff. But he basically used the algorithm to bring that back up. So I think now the video is at like 9 million views, but like just a couple weeks ago, it was like at 4 until the ChatGPT hype got up. But it really is one of the best explanation videos I've ever seen in my entire life. I think, honestly, if people watch this, even if they don't like it, they will definitely have a better understanding of how it actually works and what it is.
So guess what?
It's educational time, definitely, probably, with Chowder on here.
Yes, it's definitely educational time. And this is a first, because
said it's education time with me.
Yeah, it's education time with Chowder and Said and Tanya. So this video is being brought to you by YouTube, of course, and it is on, it says CGP Gray. Y'all need to follow or join or subscribe that particular YouTube page. And the title of this video, it says how AIs like ChatGPT learn. So I'm playing this because of content. You know me, I'm a content guy. You got to have content to have the conversation. And guess what? I'm doing this on my podcast. So without further ado, I'm muting my mic so that we can hear this conversation. It's about 9 minutes. It's actually 8 minutes and 54 seconds. So we're gonna play this, and guess what? I got the luxury.
The whole 9 minutes?
I promise you it's going to be so. That's about to be the rest of the podcast when we talk about that. When y'all hear it, I'm telling. The wife gonna get on the. She gonna get on the screen for this one probably. It's gonna be good.
I gotta figure out. So here's the thing. Well, wait. Before you guys get started, I gotta figure out a way to listen because with the iPods or AirPods, I have the wired ones, right? I have my wires plugged in. So when I go on mute, it takes it off of my wires and then it plays it on the speaker. But my speaker been damaged since last year. Don't come for me, said. So I can't hear anything. It just sounds like muffled noise. I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm like, I want to be a part of the damn thing. And I can't leave my mic open because I'm over here. I got people in the background. What in the name?
So check it.
You're such a jerk.
I got to share screen. All you got to do is look at the screen.
I'm going to just watch. Okay.
And you can hear it still. You'll be able to hear it. So just marinate. Just marinate. Here we go, y'all.
On the internet, the algorithms are all around you. You are watching this video because an algorithm brought it to you, among others, to click, which you did, and the algorithm took note. When you open the tweetbook, the algorithm decides what you see. When you search through your photos, the algorithm does the finding, maybe even makes a little movie for you. When you buy something, the algorithm sets the price, and the algorithm is at your bank watching transactions for fraud. The stock market is full of algorithms trading with algorithms. Given this, you might want to know how these little algorithmic bots shaping your world work, especially when they don't. In ye olden days, humans built algorithmic bots by giving them instructions the humans could explain. If this, then that. But many problems are just too big and hard for a human to write simple instructions for. There's a gazillion financial transactions a second. Which ones are fraudulent? There's octillion videos on NetMeTube. Which 8 should the user see as recommendations? Which shouldn't be allowed on the site at all? For this airline seat, what is the maximum price this user will pay right now? Algorithmic bots give answers to these questions. Not perfect answers, but much better than a human could do. But how these bots work exactly, more and more, no one knows. Not even the humans who built them, or built them, as we will see. Now, companies that use these bots don't want to talk about how they work because the bots are valuable employees. Very, very valuable. And how their brains are built is a fiercely guarded trade secret. Right now, the cutting edge is most likely very I hope you like linear algebra, but what the current hotness is on any particular site and how the bots work is a bit I don't know, and always will be. So let's talk about one of the more quaint but understandable ways bots can be built without understanding how their brains work. Say you want a bot that can recognize what is in a picture. Is it a B or is it a 3? It's easy for humans, even little humans, but it's impossible to just tell a bot in bot language how to do it because really we just know that's a B and that's a 3. We can say in words what makes them different, but bots don't understand words, and it's the wiring in our brains that makes it happen anyway. While an individual neuron may be understood and clusters of neurons' general purpose vaguely grasped, the whole is beyond. Nonetheless, it works. So to get a bot that can do this sorting, you don't build it yourself. You build a bot that builds bots and a bot that teaches bots. These bots' brains are simpler, something a smart human programmer can make. The builder bot builds bots, though it's not very good at it. At first, it connects the wires and modules in the bot brains almost at random. This leads to some very special student bots sent to TeacherBot to teach. Of course, TeacherBot can't tell a B from a 3 either. If the human could build TeacherBot to do that, well then, problem solved. Instead, the human gives TeacherBot a bunch of B photos and 3 photos and an answer key to which is what. TeacherBot can't teach, but TeacherBot can test. The adorkable student bots stick out their tongues, try very hard, but they are bad at what they do. Very, very bad. And it's not their fault, really. They were built that way. Grades in hand, the student bots take a march of shame back to BuilderBot. Those that did best are put to one side, the others recycled. BuilderBot still isn't isn't good at building bots, but now it takes those left and makes copies with changes and new combinations. Back to school they go. TeacherBot teaches, tests again, and BuilderBot builds again. And again, and again. Now, a builder that builds at random and a teacher that doesn't teach, just tests, and students who can't learn, they just are what they are, in theory shouldn't work, but in practice it does. Partly because in every iteration, BuilderBot's slaughterhouse keeps the best and discards the rest, and partly because TeacherBot isn't overseeing an old-timey one-room schoolhouse with a dozen students, but an infinite warehouse with thousands of students. The test isn't 10 questions, but a million questions. And how many times does the test, build, test, loop, repeat? As many as necessary. At first, students that survive are just lucky, but by combining enough lucky bots and keeping only what works and randomly messing around with new copies of that, eventually a student bot emerges that isn't lucky, that can perhaps barely tell B's from threes. As this bot is copied and changed, slowly the average test score rises, and thus the grade needed to survive the next round gets higher and higher. Keep this up, and eventually from the infinite warehouse slaughterhouse, a student bot will emerge who can tell a B from a 3 in a photo it's never seen before pretty well. But how the student bot does this, neither the teacher bot, nor the builder bot, nor the human overseer can understand, nor the student bot itself. After keeping so many useful random changes, the wiring in its head is incredibly complicated, and while an individual line of code may be understood and clusters of code's general purpose vaguely grasped, the whole is beyond. Nonetheless, it works. But this is frustrating, especially as the student bot is very good at exactly only the kinds of questions it's been taught to. It's great with photos, but useless with videos, or baffled if the photos are upside down, or things that are obviously not B's it's confident are. Since TeacherBot can't teach, all the human overseer can do is give it more questions to make the test even longer, to include the kinds of questions the best bots get wrong. This is important to understand. It's a reason why companies are obsessed with collecting data. More data equals longer tests equals better bots. So when you get the "Are you human?" test on a website, you are not only proving that you are human, hopefully, but you are also helping to build the test to make bots that can read or count or tell lakes from mountains or horses from humans. Seeing lots of questions about driving lately? What could that be building a test for? Now, figuring out what's in a photo or on a sign or filtering videos requires humans to make correct enough tests, but there is another kind of test that makes itself. Tests on the humans. For example, say entirely hypothetical NetMeTube wanted users to keep watching as long as possible. Well, how long a user stays on the site is easy to measure, so TeacherBot gives each student bot a bunch of NetMeTube users to oversee. The student bots watch what their user watches, looks at their files, and do their best to pick the videos that keep the user on the site. The longer the average, the higher their test score. Build, test, repeat. A million cycles later, there's a student bot who's pretty good at keeping the users watching, at least compared to what a human could build. But when people ask, how does the NetMeTube algorithm select videos, once again, there isn't a great answer other than pointing to the bot and the user data it had access to, and most vitally, how the human overseers direct TeacherBot to score the test. That's what the bot is trying to be good at to survive, but what the bot is thinking, or how it thinks it, is not really knowable. All that's knowable is this student bot gets to be the algorithm because it's 0.1% better than the previous bot at the test the humans designed. So everywhere on the internet, behind the scenes, there are tests to increase user interaction, or set prices just right to maximize revenue, or pick the posts from all your friends you'll like the most, or articles people will share the most, or whatever. If it's testable, it's teachable. Well, teachable. And a student bot will graduate from the warehouse to be the algorithm of its domain, at least for a little while. We're used to the idea that the tools we use, even if we don't understand them, someone does. But with our machines that learn, we are increasingly in a position where we use tools or are used by tools that no one, not even their creators, understand. We can only hope to guide them with the tests we make. And we need to get comfortable with that, as our algorithmic bot buddies are all around and not going anywhere. Okay, the bots are watching. You know what's coming. This is where I need to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe, and bell me, and share on the tweet book. The algorithm is watching. It won't show people the video unless you do this. Look what you've reduced me to, bots. What do you want? Do you want watch time? Is that what you want? Fine. Hey guys, did you know I also have podcasts you can listen to? Maybe even just in the background while you're tidying up your all room for hours or whatever. There's hours of audio entertainment for you and watch time for the bots overseeing your actions. Go ahead and take a click. Entertain yourself. Help me. Help the bots.
Okay. Low key, that was classic. I low key actually.
He has some
like
great
that.
content. I won't lie. Before we go into it later on, go to his videos. He has one called Hexagons Are the Bestagons. You won't be disappointed with that one.
Well, I'm definitely subscribed. This I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. The funny thing I think that's about this video is that he made it. He made it so. What's the word I'm looking for? Relevant in this day and age, with how people.
Mind you, that was 5 years. Mind you, that was 5 years ago.
And
He didn't. That was 5 years ago.
Right. Right. I mean, and now we're talking about ChatGPT. Like it wasn't a big conversation until, like you said, like maybe September, October, November last year. This dude said builder bot slaughterhouse. I about lost it. Because he's telling the truth. It's not even me thinking. He's telling the truth. Because really, okay, me being a nerd, when I was in high school, I went to a national computer competition. It's this organization that I've known about for, man, at least 30 years. It's called Black Data Processing Associates. And they opened up a chapter in Kansas City. This is back when I was in high school. This is like in the late 80s, early 90s. Telling my age. I don't give a shit. So they basically at the time was trying to see if African-American students or minority students that went to different high schools and urban districts, or what they considered urban districts that were diverse, had the time and the ability to learn how to do programs in DOS and COBOL and C+. Actually, it wasn't even C+ then. It was DOS, COBOL, and it was something else. But anyway, so what they did was they tested you and all this other stuff, and then people were selected based off of how they tested. Well, I ended up winning 2 years in a row, my sophomore year, my junior year. And we went to these national computer competitions. So anyway, long story short, I was able to learn how to write programs. And then they wanted you to write a program that balanced checkbooks and all this stuff using DOS. And then you were graded on it. We didn't win shit because, I mean, it's not that we were dumb. We just weren't forward thinkers. And me being in high school, I didn't think like that. I was just like, I know how to make some letters go across the screen. I can probably figure out how to create a chart that will balance a checkbook, but all this other shit they asking for, I ain't got it, bro. I just ain't got it, you know? What? So I learned later, of course, being in the Navy, I learned later that I can do that. And I learned very quickly how to do that. And I was like, damn, if I had this knowledge then, bam. Why did I say all that? Because this dude literally, instead of Build-A-Bear, it was Build-A-Bot. And he brought it back to where it was associating people's knowledge base. No matter how old you are, everybody knows about Build-A-Bear. It was Build-A-Bot. It's like people are building bots to basically not read or understand, but to recognize the difference between 3B or, you know, neither, or whatever the bot chose. And then when it picked the smartest one, then it just went on. Well, guess what? That's how ChatGPT is. When you first get into it, it doesn't know you. It don't even, I mean, when you ask for stuff, it's just going off of what it has in its memory stored up from what the programmers put in. Other than that, that's it. However, if you start backfilling it and letting it know who you are, it's going to give you what you want and it's going to learn based off of what information is being put into, these particular platforms of ChatGPT. And there's so many different AIs that's coming out that does different things that's in support of ChatGPT. It's ridiculous. So I'm wanting to know how everybody felt about the video. Even you, Connie. We'll start with you, go to Tanya, and then we finish up with the tech guy, Chowder, because I know Chowder is chomping at the bit, ready to just go in deep on this because I want him to. But how did you feel about it, babe? And then go over to Tanya, and then, like I said, Chowder.
So to me, he had very good animation in it, and it was easy to follow. But the funny thing for me is that it made it seem almost as if like, so you're not the sharpest tool in the shed. Okay, we're going to put your ass over here. And we're just going to keep these good people that are smart, that understand what's happening. We're going to push them along in the system. So it almost made it feel like you were sitting in school. And if you weren't the smart kid, your ass had to stay behind or put the dunce hat on and sit over there.
Right.
So, that's kind of what I got out of it from an initial standpoint. I'm certain that if I went back through it or went to something else or the actual ChatGPT thing and started working around with it or whatever, I'm certain that I would probably get to understand it and learn it a bit better if I messed around with it. Just my take.
I was going to say, even too, Connie, from the easiest entry point, like that video, I was trying to read along with the subtitles because, I could barely hear y'all, right? And I have the people in the background. But I was like, I found that video to be condescending. I'm like, look here, I ain't no damn nerd. This stuff isn't applicable, but it definitely is applicable. Like, Chowder knows how I feel about that shit. End of the day, yeah. Should we be doing this stuff from the simplest platform with automations and all of this? Yeah, but there's no conspiracy here. Most of the people that would use these tools, if we had access to them, we would use them. So it's almost like, like how we're Gen Xers hidden within baby boomers and other people's plans on how they want to take over the world. And then you have a group of people that go, I didn't know those tools were available. Just so now we can use them. It's kind of like that type of thing. So I just say, if you know how, Sid mentioned he's been using it for the outline, Connie, use it for something that you personally been wanting to create. Like if you've been wanting to write a book, you just been wanting to get your thoughts out, like literally ask it to help you, say, write me, literally prompt it. Say, create me a such and such, such and such. Tell it to do it so that you can actually see what it can do for you versus how other people may tell you to use it to create whatever they create. Just see how it can actually be applicable to you. And it will definitely open up some more, light bulb moments there too.
Gotcha.
Thank you. You are so welcome.
Chowder?
Nah, that's one of my favorite videos. I like that video. I think it just gives like you said, it's basic. It's good to follow along. He has some good humor in there, some good animation and things like that. What I was gonna say is, Connie, so have you not showed her like what it looks like on the front facing side of ChatGPT?
Nope.
That's what you said. I blame
her.
Sid.
I gotta give you. I can't give you a visual of the setup, but her setup is work setup with the iMac that sits to the side, and that's what she's on right now. But she has two monitors for her job. Yep. That's her setup. My setup is I have two big ass monitors with a camera and a light, another light, and another light with speakers, my sweatshirts. My shit is okay. Oh, and my soundboard for my production. So she don't come back here.
No.
Because I got.
And I mean, like literally, we're like maybe what?
There you go.
Away,
yes.
2 feet away from each other.
So,
but seriously, our desks are that close together.
So he never put you in the driver's chair. So yeah, show her on this screen. This is about to rock her world. Yo. Let's go.
Tanya, no. So so Chowder is sharing his screen for those that are not able to watch his screen, and he's going to show Connie what ChatGPT looks like. Now, I'm gonna do everyone a solid that is listening to this podcast. If you follow me and you listen to the podcast, and even if you don't follow me and you listen to the podcast, and you would like to see the video of what Chowder is showing me, Tanya, and my wife, you have to send me a message.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to post this on YouTube. I'm not going to even put it on my Facebook. And the reason for that is because of YouTube and Facebook. I am a big proponent of being completely and utterly educational, but I am with the shits. Y'all can come for me all day long, but I'm not going to provoke people to come for me because my PTSD and anxiety is set up in such a way to where if I decide to fuck somebody up, it's probably going to happen within that 24 to 48 hour period. And I don't mean like violently. I mean in such a petty way to where it's like, why come I can't get into my house or my computer is not working or my alarm system keeps going off. I'm gonna fuck with you the long way. I'm gonna make you have to take pills. That's why I'm just talking shit. But anyway, but yes, Chowder has set up a screen to show his ChatGPT, and it's to help everyone understanding content wise. But he's also going to show you some more, I'm sure. So
yeah, I was gonna say I'm thinking sometimes it is hard to think of like. I was going to type in some government stuff, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Not even to be a little controversial, but just to give like. So I'll do it from a basic marketing standpoint, right? So real quick, this is ChatGPT. Most people's ChatGPT will not look like this completely because I have a Chrome extension that adds extra features to my ChatGPT that can be covered in another podcast or at a later time as far as explanation. But I'm just going to show an example, right? So I'm a marketer. So I'm going to look for some marketing prompts. Now, prompts, you'll hear this a lot. Somebody can give you a prompt. You can make your own prompt, whatever the case may be. But a prompt, a phrase, a question, whatever, the better it is, the more detailed the answer or response you're going to get. So I'm going to click on this one right here. This is a prompt that is basically to help me with 30 social media posts and image suggestions, right? So I'm a small business owner, right? What is the name of my business? So the name of my business is Otaku Solutions, and Otaku Solutions is a full service digital marketing agency in Los Angeles. All right, period. I'm just going to press enter. And here it's going to create me a graph of 30 social media posts that have very good writing, and then it's even giving me a description of an image that I can go generate, have somebody make for that as well. So like for instance, the first one, I'll give it a minute real quick because it's going to keep going down as far as I read. Just a super small example. Stop that too. That's good. So it says, looking to boost your online presence, Otaku Solutions is here to help. Our full service digital marketing agency in Los Angeles offers top-notch SEO strategies to increase your visibility in search results. Let us help you optimize your website and drive more organic traffic your way. And then you can put hashtags there. Digital marketing, SEO, Los Angeles, online presence, marketing agency. And then it even suggested an image. People working on laptop in vibrant office environment. How funny, right? Number 2, are you struggling to reach your target audience? Otaku Solution has the solution for you. Our expert team knows how to leverage social media platforms to engage your customers effectively. Let us create engaging content and manage your social media accounts to maximize your brand's online reach, right? Hashtag target audience, hashtag social media management, engaging content, brand awareness, digital marketing. And then it suggests an image, social media icon, representation, various platforms. So that just means showing a picture of like Instagram, Twitter, all the social platforms on one thing. Let me go to another one that's already made real quick. So I think I have one. Is this for my anime community? Yep, this is right. So I put this was a prompt that says it was a prompt for my Google business profile. In your Google business profile, if you don't know what this is, when you type in a business, there's going to be this box that pops up that gives you a lot of information on the business you searched up or your business. One helpful thing about that is you have something called a question section where people can go and already see like questions that are frequently asked about your business and stuff. So here was a prompt that said, hey, help me create 5 engaging FAQ and questions for my business, my Google business profile. And the prompt that I put was very simple. I put Waifu and Weaves because that is the name of my anime community. Waifu and Weaves is a social community platform dedicated to anime, gaming, cosplay, and supporting anime related businesses. And then it made, literally, this was actually really great. So it made 5 questions. Question 1, what is Waifu and Weaves? Thank you for your interest in Waifu and Weaves. We are a social community platform dedicated to anime, gaming, cosplay, and supporting anime-related businesses. Our mission is to create and welcome inclusive spaces where fans can connect, share their love of anime and gaming, and discover new hobbies and interests. We offer various activities and events such as cosplay contests, gaming tournaments, watch parties, and more. Follow us on social media to join our community to stay updated on upcoming events. Right? Question 2, how can I join the Waifu and Weaves community? We would love to have you as part of our community. Joining Waifu and Weaves is easy. Simply visit our website and sign up for our account. Once you have an account, you can access our community platform, participate in events, contests, and connect with fellow anime and gaming fans. You can also follow us on social media for updates. We look forward to welcoming you. I won't go through the rest, but even then, that's very great for less than probably 60 characters to help me generate content, or even more. What more people need is a template for the idea that they have that's just not on paper, that's visually in front of them to give some examples. And once again, these are very small. These are front-facing examples, if I would call that. So I'm still inside of ChatGPT using it. You can, for example, when you make an account, come here and come get your API key and connect it to other platforms for it to do various things. So for instance, let's just say hypothetically, even though this will probably never happen, quote unquote, you get an email in your Gmail. And I was going to say never happen because I was going to use a government scenario, but I won't. Like, let's say you use Gmail, right? And somebody responds to an email. You can connect ChatGPT to that. So when somebody sends an email, it will literally just respond based to that email because the prompt is that email. Literally. And you can automate that, just to give like super small examples.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
So you see why I was kind of wanting to stop using who I've been using for
Yeah.
I mean, and it's no shade to that person, but when you taking forever
Right.
to complete something or just to do simple tasks, when I know for a fact that there's an engine out there that can help me design what I want and will have it done, and all I got to do is get the code and post it and I'm good. And you mean to tell me that I'm paying somebody to do the exact thing that I can possibly do? No, you can fucking eat toenails. I'm done. I'm not going to sit around here and pay a company to do something, and then 9 times out of 10 those companies are going to take their sweet ass time and make excuses why this ain't done, why this not done, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to get into a long heated discussion because at one point in time, you know, I was all about this company, and now I'm having reservations, not because of what they do, because I think what they do is phenomenal work. It's just I'm in a direction now where, thanks to Chowder, I'm sorry, I said Crowder. Thanks to Chowder, I'm wanting to do it myself.
Yeah.
You know, so it and not to mention the fact when Chowder showed me this and the prompt and everything, it gave me like so many different ideas that I already had envisioned. I just didn't know how I was going to do them because I always felt like if I didn't have to do something, I would have to have someone do it for me or pay somebody to do it for me. But in reality, if you just need to know the steps to do it, to see if you can do it, ChatGPT is the tool. Because not everything is impossible.
Right, exactly.
But I'm gonna play devil's advocate because you know how some people think, and I don't negate how they think because it's some validity there. People are gonna, think the way they think, especially when it comes to AI and Chat GPT. People that are successful authors, people that have written books, people that have written movie scripts, whatever the case may be, or do resumes for people are going to feel, I guess, threatened by the competition
and conflicted.
Well, it's going to be the competition that they see that's going to be within ChatGPT and AI. Their abilities to be able to write books and to write essays and to write, do all these things that I wouldn't necessarily say that it's bad, but I also believe that people have the ability to use ChatGPT to help them and not do it for them. Yeah. Like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate. There are going to be people out there that's going to do this to take an advantage so that they don't have to do the hard work. Now I don't know if this is like, if they can control the environment so that it doesn't take away from the people that actually do the hard work and, be mentally creative and create these great writings that they do when it comes to books and stuff. But what I'm saying is do you see this as going to be a thing where people are going to be creating all these books and everything using ChatGPT and then becoming successful with it and making money off of it?
It's not even really their writing. It's coming from
AI generated,
right?
Tool that they put their information in. So, what's the
I don't know. That's interesting. I think, oh man, I try not to be biased. So, like, very true. Even and it's because I try to. It's hard, especially like as a person who uses these tools on the front end and back end. You're definitely right, though. There are going to be people who abuse it. There are going to be people who are super lazy now who are going to be successful using this and kind of change their image and all those other things that come with that, and they're probably going to get more limelight than actual creators. I don't know if that's what you were, more than the people who actually like work harder and actually create the tools and stuff like that. So it definitely is there, which is why I try to teach and show a different route because, and it was like I was saying earlier, and kind of like, the more you know better, you do better. So the AI thing, going back to which I always bring up a lot, even more often, is the front facing is good. But once you take that API key and connect it to whatever you want to do it with, it's such a creative tool that you can probably monetize it and do stuff like just specifically of what you're thinking about. Like that's how crazy it is. And I'll be honest, like for me, I don't see it as that crazy because I was already automating things. So most of these things to me are really just simply automation at its finest, probably at its peak right now for a lot of things. And once again, connecting that to no-code platforms that already take you to your peak, it could not be better to do multiple things. Writing blogs, social media management, creating websites. I have some people who are asking me to build AI forms to test for their patients to see if they have autism and stuff like that. Even think of doctor checkup forms. Think of a professional doctor. You take that personality, build a prompt behind it, put it in a form. That's great. That's amazing. You have math teacher form. You have all type of stuff, so
it is.
I believe in the law of duality. There's always going to be a positive and a negative. Obviously, I don't want to say like, don't focus on the negative, but there are things set up in place, and hopefully this sounds right. We're not the people to be worried about shit like that because we can't do nothing about it. For motherfuckers started utilizing ChatGPT and started doing some Skynet type shit, the only motherfuckers that's going to be able to stop that is probably Sam Altman and the niggas who built it. We're not going to be able to do nothing, probably. So, it's a lot to say, but that's where I'm.
And I think, right, and I completely agree with you. And I also think that there's that fear of to where, and it was, I mean, it's a great analogy that my sissy brought up, and I'm talking about it because I have to give her credit. You know, I thought about it, but I also thought about, like you said, I think about the balance as well. You know, how can I benefit off of something that I'm not trying to use in a negative way, knowing that people are going to use this in a negative way at some point. And the one thing that she said that kind of, you know, brings it home is it's people are using this tool to ultimately build AI, regardless if it's robots or whatever, and it's going to take humans out of the functioning, you know, task of being able to do anything, i.e., let me have some water real quick. I.e., they have, excuse me, geez, they have what AI robots now that are supposed to be doing a McDonald's thing. They have cars drive themselves. They have
robots in pharmacies.
They have robots in pharmacies. They're building construction robots. Ultimately, this is taking all the workers away.
Yep.
Now, a lot of people are against that because you tell people to go to school to learn a trade, and then you're going to take it over with robots. I don't think that's going to be the immediate thing that's going to happen, but that's a fear. And that's the reason why a lot of people are not going to use ChatGPT.
But you know, it's funny with technology, and see, I don't know if this is devil's advocate. This is just what I literally see in real time. People are hypocrites. So, like, let's take fast food, for example. Right. People complain about fast food all the time. So you're telling me if I have robots now, get your order right and get everything done, and there's no long lines or nothing, you're still concerned about those people who you don't even respect or do anything about, who actually make less than $15,000 a year? What are you talking about right now? Let's really look at a bigger picture. What are you talking about right now? Then even I would make the argument that, like, and this is a very wild statement, if the writer's block used AI, listen, if the people want to try to use AI to build something, to be honest, I think that's not going to compare to an actual writer creating prompts and using ChatGPT to write their own fucking stories or movie. They're going to make billions. Anybody who's saying your job is going to get taken, this is probably the best time for your job to get taken. Go learn ChatGPT and replace your motherfucking self with some shit. I promise you. But nobody's saying that. But even going back to my first argument, the stuff that people are complaining about is shit that they usually don't even care about.
Hold up. We gotta let that breathe.
Face first.
Wait, I gotta hear shit like that. Cause
shit like that. Shit
bruh,
like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like
nobody
that.
Is, bro. Everybody wants to think the negative. What happens when you have an author that has written best-selling novel after best-selling novel after best-selling novel, and they put their best-selling novel in a chat GPT and say, hey, I'm doing a part 2. Here's the characters. This is the place in the print, and blah, blah, blah. Here's the first 5 chapters. I am stuck in chapter 5, and I still got 3 left. How do I get over the hump? And chat GPT says, oh, you should try this. Because you know it has a function where you can say, what does it say? Redo the.
Oh yeah, basically, like, well, it remembers what you previously put inside of there. So I mean, you could say reference back to this, or put it in quotations and stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Reference back to this. So that writer that's creative can always have something to go back to, and they don't have to use everything that is in ChatGPT. It's just a suggestion. It's saying, hey, you could try this. Yes, you could do have it ask another question so it can get a different response. But until you see something that triggers your mind to say, oh, that's the direction I'm going in, it's still coming from you. Like you said, it's an assistant. It's like a personal assistant or a writing assistant. It's like getting you over those hurdles, because you're right. Anytime you have an author that gets writer's block, they get stuck. And sometimes they might get stuck for like a couple of weeks, months. And if ChatGPT is able to get them past those and be able to say, okay, your writer's block has probably only been a week. Once you try ChatGPT, bam, they go in there and put all the information, take the time in, cut and paste, do whatever they got to do so that it can learn, and it spits out
3, 4, 5 versions of what's going to help you get over the hump.
And what's even crazier is like, once again, going back to the API keys, bare minimum, once you connect it to, like, let's say I use Discord. Let's say I usually connect, I perfectly try to use the best simple example. I'm a writer. I'm in this situation. I say, fuck it, I'm going to create my own shit using ChatGPT. You can literally just go to Discord, go to Slack, go to a communication platform like that, connect it to with your open AI key and literally write to it, and it's still going to feed you back the prompts. You own 100% of that data. It's there. Like, when I hear like some of this, it's just like sometimes I'm like, I don't really think you understand how you can leverage it. And it's something like, I'll be honest, you're fighting against something that, to be honest, you're going to lose against just off the sheer fact that, like, they don't have to hire, like, it's literally free for your open AI open key. Like, God forbid they start charging for access to it, which I don't think they'll ever do, which is smart, obviously, because they're probably going to get data off that. But, like, there is no better time to go make a free account, go use that, and try and just learn the leverage. I'm not saying you're going to learn it in a week or a day because it's different for everybody, but it's just no better. Like, it's like fucking the gold rush again, damn near, with software. It's ridiculous.
Right.
So I have a question. So as you were just talking, it was like, ask the question about privacy. Ask the question about the copyright. So you had mentioned, and maybe you said about putting in like the first 5 chapters of your book and asking it to help you because you have writer's block. Is there potential for copyright infringement or
they are so let me try to make sure I understand. Let's say that you're using it natively, like how I showed you, right? Like you go to ChatGPT and you type in your information there. So 1, I don't have that actual answer. 2, I believe that they're actually trying to create, maybe what's the right word, legislation and things around that, right? Let's say if the example, I'm J.K. Rowling, we use that same example, I put in information and then another user who's using ChatGPT puts in information and generates something, and it kind of is like from what I put previously, right? And maybe they may say like, oh, that's copy. Like, there's so many ways and to look at it. I don't know honestly how that will go, but I will say, and I'll probably have to send Seth the link later. There is a YouTuber I watched who is pretty good about information on this, because like there's a guy who, and he's really known, his plan is going to fail, but he was doing like AI lawyers, and there was stuff all around that and everything. And the breakdown of the video I have to send to you is really great. It's a gray area right now. And because this is new, we're not going to get, I think that some people want to answer fast enough, and unfortunately that can't happen, because I'll be honest, even from using a front end interface, it's hard to say specifically, how do I know that this pulled data that was from you? If we're saying that this is a giant mind that has data all the way from the beginning of the internet to 2021, that's just, to be honest, that's way too much shit for you to feel like you're too good that yours got picked out of all that data. Okay, so how do we tell that? Are we supposed to link all this stuff up that says this pulled and scraped from here and did all that? That's not how that works. So, and even then, do you want to go through all that? Now we got to create a whole new thing and pay people to do this or do that. Or how are we going to do it? AI? Well, I thought we were on AI to do. You see, it can just get crazy. That's me assuming. I'm not even in the space to do that, but I would assume that that could be a route that it could take. So unless we get to a point where, like, we're saying, hey, this pulled the data from there, yeah. But then again, I go back to the other argument.
Right.
If you do that in your own sandbox, that's the term I'll use, right? Because the sandbox we're using right now is the front end of the ChatGPT, what I showed you. If you take your API key and put that in your own sandbox, then more than likely you're going to be good. Now, can it be said that they probably are still getting information and data because you're using the API key? could be a possibility, couldn't be a possibility. I really don't know. But even then, I would say that is the best that you're probably going to get as far as like worrying about, okay, I inserted this prompt inside of actually chatgpt.com instead of my own Discord server or me texting myself on my phone in Siri or something like that.
Right.
Gotcha.
Wow. We can go on for hours about this conversation. And I'm not going to do that to y'all. I'm not, because I know me and Chowder can sit on here for at least 2 hours and just go back and forth about this. And the reason why I brought the devil's advocate, because I think that it's needed, even on a surface level, of someone that is basically just new to this and trying to learn it. And like I said, I had just got off the phone with my sissy up in New York, and I was like, yeah, let me do this. And that was like on the fly. And that's why I just do my podcast live.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just real quick to touch, like, my true opinion on privacy, and this that definitely doesn't apply to you, but because I really don't think I gave an honest answer. People are hypocrites about that too. So people use apps every day that steal your privacy knowingly, and they lie to you, opposed to a company like ChatGPT who openly tells you how it works and you know what it does, and people try to treat it on the same level as, i.e., Facebook. Facebook literally lies to us every day, steals our data, and does not pay us, and we don't get any monetary gain. You can go sign up for ChatGPT. The data that it has used, you can literally use all of that shit, which is data from the beginning of the internet to 2021, monetize it, and get paid in multiple ways. So, like, when people talk about privacy, unless you're using PGP keys or using Proton Mail or using Morse code or something like that, right? Because we got to be honest, privacy at this day and age means you can't send money on Zelle, you don't have a bank account, you can't text. Nobody's fucking doing that every day. I promise you're not. So when we talk about and it's very few companies, and I'll said this, like, if you don't know about Tapestry, which is a black-owned data company that actually pays you for your data on your phone. It's one of the only few ones that'll do it. They don't even like companies like that. But people talk about this stuff like they're actual advocates or they really know. And listen, there are people who spend $1,200 on an iPhone and don't even know you could double tap on the back and open up the fucking menu. I don't want to hear about what people are trying to talk about with things they don't use every day and are not experts in. It's getting tiring. And because we do that, I think as a society so much, we're not listening to the people that we're supposed to listen to. It's ridiculous. People try to tell me about an iPhone and I'm like, bro, Samsung makes their parts, nigga. What are you talking about? You just came out with... Explain to me what NFC is. Did you know you just got... The Superior phone just got NFC in past 2010, when that shit's been out since 2005 or before that. What are you talking about right now? You really have no concept of technology and how it works. Stop it. Stop it.
That's true statement, because I don't really get in debates with people that talk about, Apple or Android or whatever. I was like, people like what they like. So I don't, if someone has Android, that's because they like it. That's fine. I have an Apple phone because I've been freaking iPhone ever since I was in the Navy. And the reason why is because it was what I thought was going to help me while I was in the military. And I've just been in the cloud space ever since then.
Been rocking it ever since.
Right. But that doesn't mean that if someone was to introduce something better that has the same functionality, not because I'm just used to the software, it's just because I like what they have, then I'll do that. But at the same time, it's like, it shouldn't be.
I mean, people don't even understand that it's a marketing stunt at that. Like, it actually literally is like an actual marketing thing. When you can get into it, like, because I remember somebody was trying to argue with me about like something that Android couldn't do. And I said, do you know what RCS messaging is? And they said no. And I said, just shut the fuck up, bro. You shut the fuck up. You don't even know how fucking messages work when they're saying of why you can't even send me this message and you're trying to advocate. Do you know that Apple is do you know every other provider is able to do this except for Apple? Did you fucking know that? Why? Because they want to set their own standard in there. It's a whole group of shit. But it's other technologies. I try to, because I like to educate, but it's like, once again, if you don't have the founding of how stuff works, like, for the last example, like, people get on this is why apps don't survive, because we have something called the app standard. This may not be a term, but I call it the app standard. We're so used to billion-dollar companies creating these apps that even still have problems that we complain about and still use them But if we go to another person who doesn't have $1 billion and we use their app, the first time we have a problem, we fucking complain. We do all this shit. We don't use it. Like, you don't even understand how an app works and how $1 billion company has thousands of developers that they can afford to pay to build and sustain something. You're a fucking moron. You're dumb, bro. Sorry, you cannot try to make fun of this person who built something that in the first probably 5 hours of them building and had this idea, you'll fucking break down and cry probably, bro. Stop it.
Yeah, that is true. I think that a lot of times people get in their feelings and they want to be, oh, because I have this phone is better. No, that's just what you know, and that doesn't take anything away from you. But don't get in a competition to talk about technology if you don't know about technology.
Yeah.
Some people just get phones because it's popular and other people got phones. I specifically got it because I wanted to be in the cloud, and they were talking about cloud, and I knew about cloud because I was in charge of ITs and everything, and that's what was being offered. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. Now it's like I've been so trapped within the phone because they keep updating the features of something that I know and used to. Okay, I'm fine with that. But then when someone says, oh, Samsung's got this, blah, 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 I'm like, oh, shit. That's why Apple don't have this, because they're trying to develop their own way of doing it without it being the same shit that every other phone has. Oh, that's why. And just like Chowder said, it's marketing. Some people want to be against the grain and say, no, I don't want the same things that all other phones have. I want something different. Well, there's a risk with that shit.
You can't have your cookie and eat it with everything, especially if you ain't developed the shit. You can only do it so much.
That part, the grass is not always green on the other side. So it's like, pick your poison first, and don't get trapped in the conversations that you're not really.
Or be educated on.
Because at the end of the day, it's not because. Well, yeah, I mean, to me, if you anything with technology, regardless of what it is, you want to educate yourself on it. Don't just do it because it's the popular thing. You want to educate yourself on it. And like ChatGPT, we really didn't talk about SaaS, but we can come back to a different conversation because there's competition with that shit. We know it is. And the people that don't know what SaaS is it's I don't know. What's a better way of saying it?
Anything you log into with an email and password, which is almost everything.
There you go. Because I was going to say,
no, that is a good example. Those are good examples. They would fall under some of what the threshold of a SaaS platform would be. But yeah, anything that's subscription based or a freemium is a SaaS platform.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I was going to talk about that, but I'm going to save that conversation for another time because that in itself is a little bit deeper conversation due to the fact that there's competition within just the SaaS platforms or how people are using them or how to monetize the use of them is being more of a competitional based conversation. And I'm not going to do that right now because we'll be on here for another hour and a half, 2 hours. So what I'm gonna do is we're pretty much at the point where we need to wrap up. I've been on here for about an hour, almost an hour and a half, talking about just ChatGPT, which is a great conversation. And thanks, my brother Chowder, for coming on and having that discussion. If Tanya was here, I would thank her, but she's not. But I'm gonna virtually say thank you, Tanya, and hopefully the next time you join us, which I'm sure is gonna.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me. Anytime, brother. Anytime.
No doubt. We gotta have this conversation, babe. You got anything to say before we get up out of here?
No, I'm now. So, and Cedric will say this.
Oh no, that's good.
While the process shit, true fact. It's a true fact. It does.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm not worried about how long it takes you to understand something.
It takes me a while to process a lot of stuff, but once I get it, it's
nah, you're good.
I can go with the flow. But no, for real. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for expounding on what ChatGPT is and some of what it's not. And expanding my own knowledge base and, opening my eyes to what it is that you all do and see with, and giving the examples that you gave, as to what works for y'all, and even from the basics, like Tanya had mentioned about, a daily schedule or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no
Great
problem.
conversation tonight. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna say this. I know in the coming weeks and months, me and we're gonna have lots of phone calls and different things, not just talking about prompts and things with GPT, just just building. And that's what you should do with brothers that have a lot of knowledge on things. You should be able to just understand those platforms and build with them and help create. So that's my job at my tender young age of 49, as to helping entrepreneurs, to help them be the best that they can be. They don't need my help. I just like to encourage them. And if my encouragement can help them create something brand new, trust me, I'm going to do that shit. But
nah, this was nice. I'm going to definitely be learning from Sad some stuff. So I want to be doing some podcast stuff soon. I actually just got a wonderful podcast idea that I think will go crazy viral for some good reasons. But no, this was good. I've been more this year, I don't want to say opening up, but getting more into like open spaces like this, audio rooms and podcasts, talking about things, not even like it ever goes viral or anything, but just to be able to talk and give a different perspective of what's going on. Because, a lot of people hustle technology in a bad way, as far as like, I don't want to say teaching what it's not. It's just like an icky vibe. You kind of know what I'm talking about. So to be able to even give what I would consider just basic knowledge, but to what others are, it's not basic knowledge, and that actually be very great and helpful. It's just good to hear and see. That's really all I can start off and say and be humble with, to be honest. I just, regardless of being paid or not, being able to see like somebody like, damn, bro, I've been on that shit for 4 months and you just helped me in 30 minutes. That feels good. That's good.
Yeah. Facts. And you did that for me. I already gave you your accolades, and I don't have a problem giving accolades, because especially to those that are generally doing great work. And this brother is definitely doing some great work. So y'all need to stay tapped in and tuned into the podcast, so that y'all never know when Chowder gonna stop by and when we're gonna have a technical conversation. You just never know. So I need my theme music. Before we get up out of here, make sure y'all follow the podcast on YouTube. That's what I said. Y'all can follow me on Facebook. That's what I said. Pretty much any platform is that's what I said. I love this conversation so much that it's definitely got to have something we're gonna have to talk about this more. So I hope y'all continue to enjoy the podcast and continue to enjoy this long weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. Go ahead and burn something up and feed it to your family. If not, just enjoy, yourself and some time off. With that being said, we're about to here. I'll catch y'all on the next podcast this Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Y'all already know what it is. That's what I said. I'm out.
Peace.
That's what he said with Cedric D. Sanders.
100% real, raw, and uncut.